In this episode, believe it or not, we're fishing the oldest reservoir in the United States of America. That's right, Lake Warner in North Hadley, Massachusetts, which was originally created by Robert Boltwood, who decided he needed to become a miller rather than just a dirt farmer. And so he threw up a dam to impound the Mill River, believe it or not, another Mill River, and that dam has pretty much remained in place for the last 350 years. Now, Beetroot, Price, and I are going to get out in the water in our kayaks and see what kind of surprises Lake Warner has in store for us in mid-March. Let's see it happen. So today, Fishing Historic Places is at Lake Warner, in the land of the Nonnatuck Indians. That's correct. Right across the field on the other side of this house was their Indian village, taken away from them in 1676. But I met a buddy, Daryl, here. Everything's working good. I met Daryl, and Daryl makes handmade lures. We've done a little swap. I traded him a few spinnerbaits here, and he's thrown one of these at me. And I'm going to tell you something. I've worked a lot of topwater lures. I can't call this a topwater. I've worked a lot of crankbaits. I can't call this a crankbait. This thing is unique.
It's more like a wake bait. It's
a total wake bait, and it floats high in the water column, right? Nice and high. And then when you snap this thing, it's got great action.
Big reaction. And
I'm telling you, this is hot. This is called good old American ingenuity. This is Ben Franklin. He would have been proud of this. The inventor of the lightning rod, right? This is really cool, though, Daryl. Awesome to meet you today.
Hey, I like creating it. I like to see the stuff come alive. So
yeah, and this is just you, like you said. You bought one. You didn't like the action, so you sat down and you pretty much taught yourself how to make it happen.
Yep.
Badass. I love it.
Cool.
All right, Daryl. We're gonna see if we can get something with it. We're gonna try. I'm gonna start out here throwing a spinnerbait. What's new, right? What's new? And we're in the valley. This is Lake Warner in Hadley, Massachusetts, the home of Fighting Joe Hooker, commander of the Union First Corps at the Battle of Antietam. And later on, overall commander of the entire Union Army in the great Yankee defeat at Chancellorsville. Fighting Joe Hooker, hard-driving West Point man. Later on, redeemed himself at the Battle of Lookout Mountain. I don't know how much he really redeemed himself. He couldn't control his men, who saw the rebel banners on the heights and hurled themselves at Johnny Reb, going up one of the most dramatic hills in any Civil War battlefield, on any Civil War battlefield. If you've ever been to Lookout Mountain, you know what I'm talking about. And his men, impressing General Grant with their impetuous bravery, right, that Hooker denied. Hooker pulled a Peter on them. Hooker was like, I can't control my men. My men are... Well, ultimately, I think Grant kind of didn't appreciate that. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Hooker was literally not standing behind, not supporting his soldiers who carried the Confederate works on the top of the hill. The Confederate artillery couldn't be depressed enough to sweep them off the hill, and they were in fact victorious against what seemed to be an overwhelming Confederate position. You don't hear much about Fighting Joe Hooker after that. He kind of goes silent. Although there is a statue of Fighting Joe in front of the State House in Boston under Mr. Bullfinch's famous dome. Fighting Joe Hooker, immortalized in bronze. Yeah, well, he would have seen Lake Warner, which was here when he was alive. I wonder if Fighting Joe did a little fishing here. He was probably more likely to have hung out in one of the nooks and crannies and drank whiskey with some of the other hoods in the area when he was home on leave from the Army. He was notorious for being a hard-drinking man. That's Fighting Joe Hooker. Anyways, I threw the spinnerbait a few times, and I'm not being patient enough with it. I think I need to let it get down a little bit. I was given a cool lure right here. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to see how this thing handles. And he's giving me a fire tiger color lure. Fire tiger's a color we always like. And it's a muted fire tiger. Daryl did a nice job with this. And there's a guy after my own heart, right? He's enjoying the outdoors and he's being creative with it, right? So he's created this really cool lure which has a just stellar action. Now I told him, in the springtime, he was saying he only caught one bass, but he's throwing really big lures. And that's the thing. In the springtime, really big lures are really good to throw because these fish are looking for a quick blast of protein. They don't want to work really hard to get it. Oh yeah, look at that lure Daryl made. That is going to be a slaughterhouse. This thing's got the nicest side-to-side action. Oh, yeah. Daryl's onto something here. For sure. What a scenic spot to fish, though. Check that landscape out with Hadley Center right over. I can imagine Fighting Joe Hooker stumbling and bumbling, drunk as a skunk on a Sunday. The congregation aghast at his behavior. Hopefully he wasn't wearing the kimono that he was famous for wearing in his tent after the battles. I'm really selling Fighting Joe short, but he deserves it. He was brutal to Ambrose Burnside of the great state of Rhode Island when Burnside took over and organized the Army of the Potomac into grand divisions. Hooker knew everything. Just ask him, he'll tell you, right? He was one of those guys. And he got baffled like nobody's business by the great fox Robert E. Lee at the Battle of Chancellorsville. Stonewall Jackson's last battle. Hooker purportedly was knocked unconscious while standing, already befuddled, at the Chancellorsville courthouse, which received a direct hit from a Confederate round shot, and the beam of the porch that he was standing under fell and knocked him right in the gourd. He had been shot in the heel at the Battle of Antietam and tore his heel right off his foot. He was in the cornfield on the extreme Yankee right. And the first of the Yankee Corps commanders to get his force into action on September 17th. In fact, his boys were administered to by Clara Barton, and we did a Fishing Historic Places episode on Clara Barton with Tom Stewart not that long ago. She was from Oxford. Yeah, I can't see Fighting Joe doing a lot of fishing. He might have been floating a bobber and, like I say, pounding a little whiskey down, but I don't really see him doing a lot of hardcore fishing. I could be wrong. Work these pad roots over here. Sometimes the ice will mount up in a pressure ridge, even on a small lake, and wreak havoc on the... Oh, there we go! We got somebody. Who the heck is this? What are we looking at here? Oh, jeez. Somebody, when I get a phone call, too, I got all kinds of stuff happening. It's Mr. Largemouth. Yes! First largemouth bass of the 2022 season falls to Mr. Spinnerbait by the pad roots. Excitement! I'll go back and tell you, buddies, I'm here. It's Mr. Pickerel. He has succumbed to the crazy action of, yes, our favorite, the chatterbait. He's not a huge pickerel. He's certainly going to be slimy. There he is. A fine chain pickerel. These stupid chatterbaits have got one big hook on them too. They don't do the fish any favors. There he is. Chain pickerel. Back in the water. We got another one. I think it's a pickerel. Oh, it is. It's another slimy pickerel. Yep, bigger than the last one. But turned on by the chatterbait. Yeah, a little bigger, see? Mr. Pickerel. See that black stripe under the eye? It's a dead giveaway. Back in the water. See, that's what it takes, Tom. Both of us have to call Beetroot and then we'll get him. I got two pickerel right here just as you guys were coming around the corner. This is where I got the bass too. And this is a North Cove right here. I got the bass out in the middle though, out here. Yeah, not on shore at all. What? Yeah, I got mine out by these lily pad roots. Yeah. I just caught these two pickerel on the chatterbait though. Figured I'd give the chatterbait a shot because it's nice and small and it's got a little different action, you know. Because they really, I thought I might get into them on the spinnerbait after I got that bass, but I fished the spinnerbait for another hour and I did not. Got another one. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, it's Mr. Largemouth on a chatterbait. Whoa! Yes! Wow! He gets off at the boat. A momentary lapse in concentration. I let a little line out because I had reeled it too close to my pole, and off he came. Officer Price hooks up. What do you got? He's got a white sucker. Yes! Of anything at any moment. Officer Price, check that out. Oh, is that a dace? I think it might be a dace. Yeah, I think it's a dace, not a fall fish. Are the fins reddish?
No, well.
Yeah, it looks like we call him a sucker, right? But I think it's a dace. Beautiful. It's cool. It's always cool to catch on a spinnerbait. Little, you got the little 1/8 ounce spinnerbait on. Bam! Beetroot on. What do you got? He's got a little largemouth. He just snuck in behind me. Did you see that? He just came cruising in, picked it off. Oh! I remember a couple of years ago when you had that pink thing, because you had the situation going on. You had to be very careful. Beetroot, not a huge bass, but a game bass.
It's got to be 6 pounds.
There it is. Oh!
Hello. Hello.
The fish whisperer. that's getting ready for Lake George. That's his technique. All right. So, you know, you never know who you're going to run into out there in the world.
The plaque over there tells you the little history of that attack.
Right. The 1676 and 75, Hadley got attacked. It got attacked twice. And there was a guy named Goff who appeared in the 1675 attack. He's called the Angel of Hadley. And he was one of the three judges who executed or signed the death warrant of King Charles I of merry old England in the English Civil War, right? But he came and saved Hadley. And the other cool thing about here is this is the home of Fighting Joe Hooker.
Yes. it
First
is.
Corps, right?
So this building, or not this one, but a mill that was in this same spot,
Right.
was one of the first structures built. And it was a sawmill, of course, because it had the water power.
Pension built all the settlements here, so it must have been one of Pension's mills.
And that's where they cut a lot of lumber and stuff to build Hadley. They were
Right.
angry.
You guys you grew up. You guys been here a while, or
That's our house.
right here? Yeah. What a beautiful home. That is so gorgeous. You guys in the summer with that water rushing over, that must be such a beautiful. Yeah.
Fishing going on. Did you find anything?
Yeah, we caught. We each caught several fish. We let them go. We just enjoy getting out and having fun.
It's a nice spot out there.
It's beautiful, and it's so cool to find. It's like a gem, in the middle of.
It's not. Yeah, it's the proximity. The whole little.
Yeah. Hang on. Tom? Have you seen Tom? Officer Price. Hold on, is that a fair? Oh no!